Hello, everyone, and welcome back. A fun game to start off the start of the summer split. That is for sure. I know, Desrex, you said that we're going to analyze the game, but no, we're going to 180 from that. We're going to do our own thing, and we're going to analyze a little bit about these players with a little segment. Yoshi, where are you going?
You said 180. We're doing a 180.
Oh. All right. Note to myself to watch what I say. We're going to be going into a little segment called Who's That Player? So I'm going to say a couple of facts about one of the players that are on either Team Liquid or Golden Guardians. And you two are going to try and guess who I'm talking about. I'll say one clue, give you two a moment to guess, and I'll keep moving on. And then we'll see how well you know these players. I am going to start with an easy one, though, okay? So start off for Who's That Player. First, they kind of have some Harry Potter glasses. Enough of a vibe that I had to go search up a picture of Harry Potter to see how closely related they were.
Chime.
Okay, I said it was easy. I guess I did a little too easy. Who's that player? It is in fact a Chime.
Let's go.
Okay, I gotta make sure when you're. All right.
Yeah, I think the only players that wear glasses are Armeo, Chime, and I think Harry does sometimes, but I think like choices on whether or not he wants to wear contacts or whatnot.
This is an unfair game. He's casted a whole season of this Sierra. What's going on?
I'll try and make sure it's a little biased to include you in the future. The other facts that I had down, which I think honestly were just as easy, known for his Bard gameplay. His ID is actually in reference to Bard, which is the chimes that Bard collects as part of his passive, which I thought was kind of cool. And something that's a little near and dear to my own heart. Very Canadian. All right, we're going to go on to our next individual here. Who's that player? First off, National Red Bull 1v1 2001 champion.
Oh crap. I definitely knew this at one point. I definitely knew this. Is it Bradley?
We'll move on to the next. Wow, I need to make these a lot more difficult. Who's that player? It is Bradley. All right,
let's go.
I like the picture as well. The other notes, which would have confirmed it, playing a lane that hasn't played competitively before, since Bradley is moving and playing top lane as opposed to mid. Also, previous ID known as Freeze, which I think is a
don't forget the
cool.
CP.
My bad. My bad.
Yeah, there you go.
Apology. You know a little more than I do. All right, next up on Who's That Player has had an announcement tweet memed about their username.
Oh.
It's not Armeo, is it?
No idea.
Wow.
Wait, you got it?
It is. Who's that player? It's Armeo. Literally, the tweet was about this is your mail.
This is your mail. This is our mail. Yes.
This is
yes.
our
I knew
mail.
Okay.
I knew it. That's the first thing that came to mind. That's all I was saying during prep when I was researching him.
Your mail, our mail.
All right. Other facts about Armeo. Original username was actually from a name generator from when he was 8, which he has then since changed. As well, he has quoted that, and this is very different from what we were talking about in our pre-show, the most important thing is to be dominant in Academy in summer and just destroying everyone. That's the goal. Which I liked the contrast from what we were talking about earlier, which is we just want to see these players improve.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
we're gonna move on unless you have anything else you want to say about Armeo here.
No, I just didn't know that Grigney came from the just a random name generator. Like that's kind of funny.
Yeah, in a game that I don't know if I'm allowed to reference from when he was 8. All right,
let's go.
Moving on next to Who's That Academy player. First off, they played water polo in high school. And if either of you get it off of this one, I will label you a stalker. I'm throwing that out there right now.
I could guess, but
Ah,
my
going
guess
for
would
sure
be
thing.
Acadian.
I shouldn't
Okay.
have let you guessed. You're not allowed to guess until you know for sure, because I am feeling bad about myself that you two are just too on the mark with this. Who's that player? It is Acadian.
Let's go.
Okay, winner
What?
take
Come
all
on.
right now, Josh. Let's go.
Let's go. I mean,
The
you just
other
look at the
facts?
dude. You ask who's a water polo player, and you see this. It's like it's that guy.
Okay, but
Wow.
you've seen him with Demonte,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Have you seen their Twitter picture of them together just flexing off? My God.
Yeah.
They're built.
It's not
Alright.
fair.
Other facts. Name comes from a misspelling of a movie quote, which is Arcadians now as opposed to Acadian, the name. As well, quite a few roles in competitive history between, and I wouldn't have said originally, but now I will say, between top lane, jungle, and coaching. That one would have given it away right there.
Yep.
All right. For our final person, winner takes all for this one. And I'm gonna say, like, y'all are too good at this. I'm making sure to ramp up every question I ask for the rest of the week. So who's that player? First off, has said that they have one goal to quote, push myself to be better. LCS gives me that.
Ayla. All right.
Ding, ding, ding.
kidding.
We have a winner.
Let's
You're
go.
kidding. You're kidding. That's what?
I agree. That is
go.
I
pretty.
thought we were
that
about
is
to get the
pretty-
second bit of information for a change, and Joshi's just got
Hell
to ruin my
nah.
victory.
Joshi's
Hell
too
no,
good.
no. I talked to this guy a couple of days ago, and that's what he was saying. Like, it's all about proving that I'm the best support, proving that I'm trying to get better, and it is my boy Bill Ayla win.
All right, well, I'm going to go on with the other facts because the last one I really like. But the second one has also stated where he goes next is back of his mind and that he always just tries to perform in the moment. Not so concerned about the future, just getting through the right now. I can always respect that. And then third, a pentakill in 2018 was actually the first recorded pentakill for a support in a competitive match, which is impressive in its own right.
Do you know what champion it was on, Eric? Because I do.
I don't hit me.
Can you guess?
Like,
what?
are you gonna have
Can
to
you name a
guess?
single support that like gets
Why-
pentakills?
Why? Okay, it's Pike, obvious, but why are you
Yeah,
gonna
it's
put
Pike.
me on the spot like this when you already beat me, man? Why?
It's the extra salt to the wound. Joshi's making sure that we are not allowed to have an easy start to Academy. But that was it for Who's That Player for this little mid-game section. And duly noted, Deserex, I feel like it was a little unfair. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that Joshi's been here for forever is the old man buff. We'll make sure to switch it up a little bit for next time where maybe I'll let you guess Gert first. Make sure that you have a chance to get in there. Joshi, you're just too good.
One
wipe
of
that
them,
smile
like
off
the
me.
Acadian one, 100% a guess. I wish I could say that like, I knew that. I knew he played like some sport in high school, but I didn't remember what one it was. But yeah, he's got the guns. He's ready to go.
A shame, just guessing your way into victory here. But you know, well, I agree. It's not fair, but I feel like a fun way to get to know the players more and looking up into these players as well. It was cool to be able to see just how close they've been to being able to get to that LCS spot. I'm thinking about Ayla in particular here. And the fact that the mentality is, you know, I just want to be the best with what I'm doing right now. I just want to get through the right here, right now, and focus on the performance. I feel like that's something that, too, we got to see in the game just overall with the Team Liquid mentality is this was a strong start and strong showing Deserex of what Academy has to offer.
It was a very strong showing, especially out of Team Liquid and what they were able to do in every single lane. I mean, it was small victories for Golden Guardians, but it was bounds and leaps made by Team Liquid every time they were on the map. You know, I commend Golden Guardians for trying their best to get Harry, but Harry was just too slippery today, man. Those, you know, his hourglass's timing is positioning everything.
I mean, the small victories, though, that we're seeing from Golden Guardians, that's okay because we're looking for that improvement. We're looking at who can stand out and hopefully some bigger ones as we are ready with the champ select to head into our second match. I'll see you two later. Have fun.
All right.
Bye.
Second match, Josh. Are we going for a tie? Are we going straight over? Are we going for the 2-0? And don't even answer that because, I mean, we both have our expectations that we made very, very clear on the broadcast desk.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how stompy that last game was between Team Liquid and Golden Guardians, and I feel like we're probably on track for something pretty similar this next time around. So we will see if Golden Guardians can figure out some of the things that they did wrong, and we are noting that it appears that they are going to be swapping sides. Golden Guardians is going to be on the blue side, and Team Liquid is going to be on the red. So I'm curious what champions are going to end up getting through. The fact that Team Liquid have banned Senna twice now means that they don't really want to play, despite it being such a strong champion on the patch.
Yeah, and other strong champs to see get banned away. Talia, that Armeo was just on. That was nasty. That was some pretty good Talia play. Fiora, another thing that was just picked up by Bradley. Still figuring out the way the position is going here because the layout's a little... Okay. Golden Guardians on the blue side, as you had mentioned earlier. Urgot getting banned away. Another target towards Concept. We had already mentioned that earlier, that Alorum-esque champion.
Yeah, I mean, we know that is going to be pretty similar things coming out from Team Liquid, even now that they're on the red side. The strong champions haven't really changed. The one thing that I might expect to shift from their 3 bans last time is with Kog'Maw still being kind of like the one S-tier AD carry on the patch. I am kind of expecting them to ban that away, but as soon as I say that, Golden Guardians are like, nope, we don't want to play this, you don't want to play Senna, so, you know, we can just handshake and neither of us get to play either of these really good champions. And instead, I feel like that means Golden Guardians are leaning towards another first pick of like the Gwen or the Wukong like they did last time.
Well, one thing that hasn't been banned yet is Lilia. That's something I'm looking out for. One more ban to come out of Golden Guardians would be a good B1 pick out of Team Liquid. If they do leave that up, I wouldn't be too surprised if that's grabbed instantly. But final ban, waiting for it, countdown timer, Kayn.
When push comes to shove, you know Acadian's willing to play that as well. But the Lilia is still available, one of the strongest top laners currently on the patch, but is a little bit risky to just blind unless your jungler is also willing to play it. And we know Concept likes playing some of the more unusual champions. You talked about it last game, but this time they're going to be the ones hovering the Lilia, just like you said, to have the kind of control and a guaranteed magic damage source.
Well, that's the thing. It can be a risky thing to just grab blind if you're already assigning into a lane, but this is a flex. You can bounce this around between the jungle and between the top lane. Now, Team Liquid's turn to respond, and they see that the Monkey King is up. They're going to grab the Wukong.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Wukong. It's not only one of the best champions on the patch, it is just so flexible as well. You can play it top, you can play it jungle. I've even seen on rare occasions it's played alongside a Senna, but having banned the Senna means it's a little bit more restricted. And Lulu, another potential champion that could come out. The big thing about Lilia that I always like to pay attention to is the things that Lilia really struggles with are point-and-click crowd control, things that just burst you instantly, and champions that can stick to you over long periods of time. So that's like auto attackers in particular can be really tough for Lilia to deal with. And so far you have 2 champions that already have effectively point and click crowd control.
And for Team Liquid, the response from this having the Wukong and Lulu has an impact in the team fight as well. If you are able to get a Cyclone, the Lulu ultimate on top of that can chain quite well. But there's the response of the Golden Guardians grabbing mobility. They get the Ezreal and they get the Karma, who can flex around into different lanes. Also has that Mantrid shield that provides a speed boost if they do need to go away from any hard engage that Team Liquid will go for.
Yeah, I definitely think this is going to be a very interesting style, right? The Ezreal Karma coming through, and something that Jan played a lot of last split was the Aphelios, right? Everybody was playing Aphelios Jinx, and Jan was definitely one that kind of preferred the Aphelios all of the time if he could get it. And the Aphelios Lulu, we said, point-and-click crowd control and powerful auto attackers. And what did you pick? You picked 2 champions with point-and-click crowd control and a powerful auto attacker. So Concept or Acadian, potentially, if he ends up playing this, is running into a situation where it's not the easiest thing in the world to navigate as champion during these team fights. Instead, it's going to be a little bit more reliant. You can get a 3, 4, 5-man sleep that can really set up for damage for the rest of the roster. But I love what Team Liquid are already doing now that they've kind of locked down at least one champion on the enemy side.
Having that lockdown over for the bottom lane, but Golden Guardians have so much flexibility. They haven't showed too much with their draft other than the marksman pick. The Lilia can flex around to both the top lane and the jungle, as mentioned earlier, but the Karma can flex around pretty much any lane you want her other than marksman as a whole. Durability patch might prove me a fool eventually in the future, but we'll see about that. So far, lots of flexibility for Golden Guardians, not really showing too much of their hand.
Yeah, both teams have a lot of opportunities to kind of flex and fill in their composition in different ways. Oh, it looks to me as though Team Liquid is potentially trying to set up for a LeBlanc pickup here with this Lissandra ban, and kind of daring Golden Guardians to either ban the LeBlanc, allowing Team Liquid to pick up the Ahri, or ban the Ahri, allowing Harry to pick up the LeBlanc. So it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't situation in a lot of ways right now. And it's going to be the Gangplank guaranteeing that Golden Guardians are going to get at least one side of the matchup should they choose to pick it up.
Oh man, that would be so wild if they actually did go for the Draven, but it is definitely a far cry. You already have the marksman locked in, bot lane locked in. Flexibility we're looking for is going to be towards the solo lanes for the next pick out of Team Liquid. Josh, if you got something spicy, hit me with it.
But I'm just saying, like, Draven against Lilia is actually like really playable, right? Like you can actually just go and you push her around so heavily early on in the game that it becomes a difference on like whether or not the jungler is going to be able to do anything about it. But with the Azir coming through, something that Harry has had a lot of success on in the past, you now have an incredibly strong backline, whereas whoever's going to be playing this Wukong, I'm kind of expecting it to be Bradley, is currently solo frontline. I feel like you need a little bit more to stand in front for Team Liquid, or potentially another diver to really enable this Wukong, as Golden Guardians trying to figure out where they want to play. Do they want to commit to backing around and being this very heavy kite, or do they want to be more aggressive and try and go forward? And the answer is they're going to be picking up this Lucian, a very flexible champion that can really punish Azir.
Yeah, we got some strong mid-game spikes coming out of Golden Guardians so far with their draft. Only one more pick. Lucian pops on very, very early. The round out for Golden Guardians, hovering the Gwen for the moment, not the worst pick to grab, considering how skirmishy they've gone with their composition so far. Team Liquid will have the counter pick to that, only hovered for the time.
Yeah, and if they do end up locking it in, it is flexible once again. We saw this last time with the Gwen plus Wukong can shift between the top lane and the jungle. Now the Lilia Gwen can do the exact same thing, but they are very squishy kind of across the board, right? Your front line is going to be maybe a Frozen Heart on Lilia, and then Gwen, who is really excited to play into a lot of ranged champions who won't necessarily be able to do anything. But it didn't necessarily mean a whole lot for Arcadian last time because Team Liquid were so good at navigating around the Gwen being immune for long periods of time. So it feels like both teams are coming here to fight, and Golden Guardians are going to be trying to lean even further into their individual play. But this Jace is a great pick into both the Lily and the Gwen, and we know that Bradley had some pretty decent success on this champion during the spring split, so I'm excited to see what he can do with it now.
Yeah, I was talking about high DPMs earlier during the game. One of Bradley's highest is on the J, somewhere 900 plus. So he can bring the pain, he can bring the damage when it comes to that Jace. But overall, there's so much protection for Team Liquid given this draft that they've gone with. You know, the Wukong itself, being a heavy engage, still provides protection through that crowd control itself. The Azir, Emperor's Divide, you have the Lulu ultimate. There's so many ways to keep these backline carries alive and get them to be successful for this fight against Golden Guardians.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunities here for the side of Team Liquid to just stand and deliver. You stay in one spot, you do a little bit of jittering around in order to dodge all kinds of skill shots, but you just sit there and shoot your opponents and challenge them to a DPS check. And most of the time, Team Liquid are going to actually be winning that. So with such a dominant performance in Game 1, Team Liquid are trying to recreate that going up against Golden Guardians, whereas Golden Guardians are still trying to just find a little bit of an entrance into the game. They won a couple skirmishes, but it was not enough to get them a lead, and it was not enough to get them a win.
All right, now we are ready to get on to the Rift. So Golden Guardians versus Team Liquid Academy, a very interesting draft into this game number 2. I want to see how this is going to play out because now we do have the Lilia that's gotten through the pick ban. Acadian feeling very confident on this. Will be taking it into the jungle. We saw the pressure that Team Liquid were able to apply, getting priority in every single lane. Acadian fighting through that. Instead, Golden Guardians are going to go for something a little bit cheeky. Into the bot lane with the ward being shown on both sides. They are aware of each other's presence.
Yeah, but there's more members here for Golden Guardians, so they are going to be the ones who end up picking up the ward. A little bit more damage coming through, and you know they technically get a bit of experience, but I think there's too many people there to end up sharing it. So, yeah, Coach gets a little bit of extra gold. I mean, you know, it's nice. You get a little bit more, but across the map once again, as we take a look at how they're going to be moving around, I feel like Team Liquid are going to be really focused once again on allowing Armeo to just mark Acadian, prevent Acadian from finding these opportunities into the lanes. And if he can protect Bradley early on in this game, it could be a very, very difficult position for Concept to try and actually play it out. And we saw how brutally Bradley won the actual top lane last game.
Yeah, Bradley's a hard lane to gank because he's so aware of what's going on. He's very smart as to other jungle positioning. You know, a lot of that play to Armeo, who's very proficient at tracking enemy junglers. It is going to be topside starts coming out of both the junglers as they start their jungle paths.
Yeah, and with the way that Acadian's kind of pathing, it looks like he might not be in a spot where he can actually go for a gank early on against Bradley, and it makes sense. It's Lily. You're not going to necessarily do a whole lot. Your first couple levels in terms of actual ganking are not super exciting, but Bradley, I mean, this is what you can do as Jace, is you can just fight at level 1 a lot of the time.
Concept is the one doing the fighting here. Still waiting for the cooldowns as poor Bradley. Forced to back out a little bit there. Still waiting for more fights to break out in the top lane because we saw the volatility of the top laners in that game number 1 when they're willing to take a fight. See what happens if that's more on more even ground. Concept on the Gwen, Bradley on this Jace. You still need quite the income.
Yeah. Good. Okay, can I just talk about the mind game that Chime and Ayla played there, right? Like, Chime walked up to Ayla, threatening to hit him with the Q, and then threw the Q instead at Jan, but Ayla wasn't confused by it, right? He instantly throws out the shield and blocks almost all of it, so these are the kind of mind games that are constantly going through in the support's mind, and Chime tried to trick Ayla, but Ayla not getting confused by it. Honestly impressed by both sides.
So this early game not going the way that we saw in game number 1, where it was just full aggro, get first blood within the first couple of minutes. It is going to be a slower paced game, which has me a little bit excited for like more of these neutral objective fights. Wukong and Lilia are both very prominent in that if they can get their area of effect crowd control.
Yeah. And so as we kind of see, we see this time it's not going to be a free set up by Bradley up in the top side, not able to get the same kind of early control, but Harry is actually winning this lane up against Choose, and that's not something that we should be expecting, especially considering it was Choose counterpick of choice, and now Armeo is coming into mid.
Oh, goes right at Choose. Choose only spot him in the back end of it, but it's still enough damage to send Choose packing, so Harry still doing well over in that mid lane. Only spotting out some vision is going to be Acadian. He puts a little bit of pressure towards the bottom side. You can see that it's Golden Guardians bot lane who are getting the bigger advantage this time. Array starts to fall low, and you still have Acadian behind the tower waiting to get a pick in. Lands on Ayla, gets a little bit of burn onto him, but not willing to go for the dive yet. Team Liquid are starting to get low here. Ooh, there goes the Ignite in the pickup from Jan. He will grab first blood in the bottom lane. I was wrong all along. It was going to be a bloody game. It is going to be in the bot lane. Jan will be able to get it.
Man, that is brutal. Acadian just sitting there, but not able to go for the dive because Array and Chime weren't able to get the wave in. Just these leads going over to Team Liquid as they play slow and they make you do something or try and get an advantage because they know that they're going to be playing the actual lanes. They're going to be playing the later parts of the game better, and Jan and Ayla staying cool, not letting the wave come under. Just beautiful stuff already coming out from the Team Liquid bottom lane. Ayla and Jan are ready to go.
Calm, cool, and collected, Josh. Just biding their time, waiting for the play to present itself. Team Liquid Academy, great. On the bot lane, we now are getting a reset to come out from Team Liquid Academy, so they'll be able to make that first purchase to head back to lane. But let's take a look at what just happened. That calm, collective nature coming out from the bot lane of Team Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell as we start to get into it that Acadian wanted to go for this dive. He's sitting right behind, but the wave isn't coming in, and it's so difficult for them to get the damage off. The burst of damage that Team Liquid has just is not something that Array can deal with. He even used the heal, but it doesn't matter. And even at the very end, Jan getting shielded from the Swirl Seed on the backside, it doesn't feel like Acadian's been able to do anything because the rest of the lanes of Team Liquid are just too solid.
5 minutes into this, slowly getting leads in every lane as Team Liquid. And Acadian yet to have that big impactful moment. Not from a lack of trying. We saw him attempt behind the tower earlier. But the tracking that we've been seeing of Armeo and the positioning coming out from Team Liquid has been pristine as they're going to start to pile on towards the bot side. First strike of the game is going to be the Ocean Drake. Don't have priority yet. It is now starting to leak into Team Liquid side as they start pushing in those waves. Armeo going to start up the Drake.
Yeah, he knows that his bottom lane is going to be able to move in just a moment, and now they come right on up. So good stuff to them there. And Golden Guardians, they want to try and contest this, but this is tough.
Acadian's going right after Harry. Emperor's Divide goes out. Harry slides on in. Acadian forced to burn his flash to back out. Dragon's going to be picked up by Team Liquid as Choose just angrily shakes his fist in their direction.
I freaking love watching Ayla just kind of walk up, and he does that little, like, stutter step, like, yeah, I'll fight you. Yeah, I'm a little Lulu. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to fight me back? And Choose is like, nah, you got this. You're fine. I know you have your entire team behind you. And so now Acadian Armeo.
You know Chihuahuas? You know they're the most dangerous dog? It's Lulu.
It's Lulu, little Chihuahua. Okay, Armeo, he's been doing a good job tracking Acadian throughout the last 2 games, but he is going to have to give up his red buff because of all the pressure the Team Liquid expanded bottom side is now getting relieved, and Golden Guardians will get at least a little bit back into their side. And I also want to give props to Concept so far this game because he is winning the counter matchup so far, right? This is a position where Bradley wanted to take the Jace into the Gwen. It's a pretty decent matchup, but because of a small overextension, Concept is now in a spot where he actually gets to play the game in mid lane.
Ooh, Harry has flash over the wall. Gonna burn it. Doesn't have the Emperor's Divide, but now the flash is down. Emperor's Divide will be up soon, so that will be a different layer to add him an escape route if he does get ganked into the mid lane again. But now it looks like they wanted to return the favor. Armeo coming out a little bit too early, gets spotted out by Choose in the process. Will not find the gank into the mid lane.
Yeah, are you a Wukong player at all, SRX?
Not the new Wukong. I haven't given too much of a play into the new one. I used to play the old one a lot.
Okay. Then you should still at least be familiar with how annoying it is when a Wukong just like walks up
when
into
they just
your lane
press
and
S?
presses the S key, and there's like,
Yeah.
what's he doing? Am I getting ganked? Where is he? And he just leaves, and you're just like, damn it! What was I supposed to do about that? And the answer is not a whole lot, but Armeo, he's just coming in and creating pressure ganks, and once again, not getting the backstop. Harry is winning the mid lane. He's up CS in a counter matchup, and while it will equalize right now, he's still going to be able to get most of this wave because it's a cannon wave. Harry in a fantastic position. This is what he was known for last split, being 10 CS ahead in every lane, regardless of the opponent, regardless of the matchup. And as we start looking at people starting to get towards 100 CS, we're expecting Harry to be in the exact same position.
With the recall coming out from Choose, trying to get that calling to shove that wave into the tower. As you said, cannon wave. Harry, right time to take that recall. Now Choose is going to have to deal with the wave shoved into his tower, which opens up so much for this mid lane if Harry wants to go explore and wants to go roaming. He's just going to grab his blue buff for now.
They're cheating towards the bottom side, a potential blue buff going over to Harry because Armeo took one away, but our first real skirmish. Chime?
Ooh, Jan not in the best of spots, gets rooted up. Jan losing more health. Array trying to finish the job here, but the shield comes out from Ayla as well as the ultimate. Ayla keeping Jan alive, who flashes over the wall. Ayla's going to survive as well. Jan takes another Mystic shot, but it's not enough to finish the kill. Armeo on retreat. Harry follows through. Has the Emperor's Divide. It is not enough to take down Team Liquid.
Wow, great discipline coming through from the side of Team Liquid, right? They get as much damage as they comfortably can throughout that fight, and it's honestly really impressive that they all stay alive because Jan and Ayla were in a really awkward position, but I feel like there's almost a fear aura coming through, right? With your Golden Guardians coming into this kind of game and you say, we're going up against the Proven Grounds champions. They haven't changed the roster. We know they're all super good. We're playing with a couple of substitutes. It kind of can get into your head. You don't necessarily have the same kind of confidence, whereas Team Liquid are pushing them around. And that's the kind of thing that, as an audience member, you don't tend to pick up on quite as much. But it's something that is definitely going through the minds of these players, whether they admit it or not. They're in a spot where they're kind of expecting they might be a little bit behind. And if you look at the actual results of it, every single lane is so far a decent lead for Team Liquid, with the exception of our man.
Golden Guardians are going to try and respond to that as they start up the Rift Herald to get some income back. Armeo, not realizing what's going on, wants to just get a gank over on the top side, do it up with Ayla. Now spotting out a member of Golden Guardians. 5k health remains on the Rift Herald, not willing to go for the play. Armeo doesn't have ultimate, so very hard to take a team fight win for Team Liquid. The smart play is to back out and go ahead and concede this.
Yeah, and this is something that we know Team Liquid have done historically, right? They would send a lot of people over to deal with the potential Rift Herald, but they would leave Yon down in the bottom lane in order to get as much farm as possible. But Golden Guardians, you know, with a new roster, it looks, at least for this Rift Herald, that they're doing the exact same thing. They want to make sure that Array can farm throughout these early game skirmishes, and now as another dragon comes up, Team Liquid are back on the map. They can choose to play for it, but most of them don't have mythics yet.
Yon does. Gale Force now
Yon does.
completed for Yon, so that is something to play into. And you got to keep in mind, Golden Guardians have nothing to really respond to that. It's going to be hard to try and collapse onto Yon and take him down with that extra protection, especially Ayla there, who's just been phenomenal at keeping him alive. We saw that last fight. They both fell to about sub 200, sub 100 and got out. Now Armeo looking to get in, knocks up Choose with the Cyclone, goes after Acadian. A double knock is going to be found. Harry follows through. Yon grabs one. Acadian over the wall. He has to flash to escape the gallop of Team Liquid.
Yeah, they get the Rift Herald crash in the mid lane, but they are not set up properly, and Team Liquid are ready to punish with all the point-and-click crowd control that they have in their composition. Choose, not respecting it, ends up going down, and this would be bold. They're down flashes. They don't have all the members. The Ezreal ult is not going to pick it up, and so it is another neutral objective going over towards Team Liquid. They're not perfect in that regard this time like they were last time with the Rift Herald going over, but it's still a very calm and collected game that we know Team Liquid love to play.
So far, so good for Team Liquid in this game, too. Let's take another look at that play that happened earlier, Josh. Team Liquid, small wins, but it's amounting to a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this is just Choose being a little bit too far forward. I mean, I don't think he thought he was in range of the initial knockup, but as soon as the initial knockup comes through, you're going to get hit by the rest of it. And that's just one of these small miscalculations that end up really biting Golden Guardians, because now they're on a really hard clock. And remember how we talked about how Team Liquid were scaling last game and they had a fantastic way to play? This game, they're doing a very similar thing, and it's not just because their champions do crazy damage later on, it's because they do it from crazy range. Jace is going to be hitting Golden Guardians from a range that they can't respond to. Harry is going to be doing the same thing, but he also has the ability to get this huge game impacting ultimate. Yon just... I mean, if you guys haven't been watching League of Legends for a while, I feel as, yes, it's a good auto attacker, but more than that, they're a crazy burst character. You Gale Force in, you ult them, and then suddenly somebody's dead because you don't have any true frontline on the side of Golden Guardians. Everybody on the team is at risk of getting hit with that. So it feels like Team Liquid are so good in their ability to pick their fights, and their champions they have are just going to exacerbate that problem for Golden Guardians.
Golden Guardians are getting to some critical points, though. You've already seen one on Acadian and Array, who were both able to finish their mythics. Acadian has been farming well. Array and Acadian both deathless so far into this game, so still getting that farm to have some impact for this mid-game, as the turret plates have now fallen 14 minutes into this. A collection of Team Liquid members now starting to culminate around this bottom side.
And as they start to do it, it's just looking like they might be rotating people out, right? Now that the plates are down, you don't necessarily need to be in your beginning of the game lane assignments, but they just hopped the wall.
Right after them. That was a bit of a jump scare right there, Joshi.
Yeah, okay. Well, both sides, they see everything.
Armeo, here it comes. The knockup onto Acadian. Waiting for the double cyclone. It's too easy. Ayla still in the kill away from Armeo, since it's my Mayo now. Out comes the Glitter Lance. True Shot Barrage lands onto Ayla, but too much health. The heal coming out from Yon keeps Ayla alive. The pressure now coming out as Harry is on the flank. Choose is going to spot this out. Should take a deep roam back to that tower. Wanna be nowhere near that, because there is Harry with the Emperor's Divide, and Choose gets death number 2. Now the push out from Team Liquid.
They can't keep getting away with it, Eric. They're fighting so much with so little HP, and now Harry gets to push everyone around as my setup starts crashing, but holy moly, Team Liquid are just so good at playing on the edge.
God, even topside, Bradley in that matchup against Concept, able to grab the tower. Bot lane, the tower falls. Team Liquid making this all come together at once, a big influx of gold.
Crazy stuff coming out from Team Liquid so far. They are in total control, but my setup just kind of crashed, so you're gonna have to give me like 30 seconds to figure out what happened to my to all of my stuff.
You know what? It's all right. It's okay. Let's take a look at that fight that happened earlier in the bottom lane, because as Josh said, they can't keep getting away with it. Look at these health bars. First of all, Acadian, who's trying so hard to get away. The double Cyclone from Wukong makes that a trip. As you do get the roam that comes out from Choose. Harry is on top of it already. The health bars right here for Team Liquid. Ayla solo, Yan solo, but still alive at the end of the day. Team Liquid, they are limit testing and they've yet to break it.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy watching them get away with such low health bars. Remember, that's the second time it happened. They did it in the bottom lane, they did it in the bottom side of the river previously. These themes continue running through, and Acadian tries to find something, but they just can't even get the turret. Even the turret's doing it, Eric. They are finding everything with slivers of HP. It should fall very soon.
They want it. They want it so bad. It's just a bounty.
But please, we just want a little bit of money. But with another dragon coming through, notice Harry's coming back. He has spent all of his gold, as the observers show that he is 1,500 gold ahead of where Choose is on this Azir. He's winning matchups he's not supposed to. He's taking control of the game. And as they set up for this dragon, they have control of the mid lane. And Chime can't even stand. He can't even walk up.
Same with Array. A shock blast over the wall, landing clutch on his jaw. Knocks him to half health, and with that, that's all that's needed for Armeo to go solo take a Drake. Acadian going to try and match here, though, as he starts up the Rift Herald. Tower under siege in the mid lane will belong to Team Liquid. Acadian now chased on out, looking for an escape path. The tower's low, but it has yet to fall. Finally going to drop. Here comes the teleport now, but look at Bradley go! Stops the teleport, intercepts Concept, and now he's just going to take him down. Pours salt in the wound. Bradley is an absolute beast, man.
Oh, so rude. Now they're playing the entire map. Ayla's running down. Bradley looking so good. Okay, the sleepy.
Oh, and the Cyclone, the combo comes through. Team Liquid are wiping the floor with Golden Guardians. Chu gonna put out the call in. It's only the cuddling this time, and 4 members of Team Liquid are ready for that party. They will take 4 down. Absolutely nothing lost, Josh.
And it happens again. It happens again. Harry walks away with less than a quarter HP. It's not the 10% like we've been seeing, but Team Liquid are the champions right now. And it feels like the players are just winning everything. It feels like Golden Guardians are getting so close. They're making good decisions, but Team Liquid are just able to get out of it every single time. This teleport, okay, he saw the shock blast and got hit by it. Okay. Alright, Concept, that one is a little bit of a head scratcher, but at the end it is probably not going to be why this game goes to Team Liquid, but it is, you know, a small mistake come through. Team Liquid, they're in a 2v3. They're just that strong. Such a good stopwatch to make sure that Choose can't really hit during this entire Maya is strong enough to just kind of win for them. So when you get to this point of the game, you start to ask yourself, you know, what can Golden Guardians do? Was the pep talk good enough to keep them in the game? Because they're still trying to make plays happen, and I respect them for it.
Oh, they're going after Ayla this time. Ayla still has the ultimate, not going to burn it.
Okay.
Instead, gets dropped by Acadian, so now we have a 4v5. Golden Guardians are getting low, though. Choose, critically low, being the mid laner, one of the main carries, needs to back out. Chime forced to flash away off the engage of Armeo. Now Concept looking to return the favor into Armeo, gets a good chunk of damage onto him, but can't finish the job. Thanks for the leash as Team Liquid going to take away the Rift Herald.
Oh my gosh, Team Liquid, I was worried that they were getting a little bit too hyped for their own good, but even then they walk away with the objective. Only Ayla going to be going down, and at the end, it just feels like Team Liquid can't really do anything wrong. They are 1 away from getting the Mountain Soul. That's going to be the next objective for them. They are up across the board. Okay, Bradley, a little bit overextended, but he might be able to fight his way out.
Will he go after Chime? If he can get close enough with the hammer, but Chime is just baiting on the back end. Concept runs a bit low here. Acadian here to provide some backup, but he's walking straight to Choose. Bradley, a chunk of damage from Bradley just deletes Acadian from full health. Now the cavalry has
No way!
Bradley
No!
is still alive. Here comes Yan. He sees Choose and he sees another paycheck cashed in. Team Liquid keep getting away with it.
Every single time Team Liquid win all of these crazy margins, I said he might be able to fight his way out. I thought that meant he was going to go 1 for 1. He goes 1 for 0. Choose ends up getting picked up on the backside. At the same time, they just crash a Rifthold on the far side of the map. Team Liquid are just winning everything. They get the bottom lane turret, they get the top lane turret, they get the kill advantage, and they almost get the bottom lane inhibitor turret. It feels like Team Liquid are playing this clinically. We saw glimpses of this during Proving Grounds in the games that they won. I believe it was 1 and 3 going up against 100 Thieves. They had a near perfect game. They had another one where they just absolutely dominated. This is the exact same kind of thing coming out from Team Liquid. And when Team Liquid is on, they are looking like an LCS team compared to everybody else in the Academy. They look so good. Spawn takes it personally that none of these guys are in LCS yet, and we can see why.
How can you not kill these guys? It's got to be so demoralizing on the side of Golden Guardian. It's got to be so tilting to be that close. What, 5 times now and still not take down Team Liquid? I want to see that top lane play again because Bradley, man, that health so close to falling, escapes by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, and this is a situation where this is the kind of play where Golden Guardians, they need to try and make this play happen. They need to try and get some goal back in their pockets, but you see how difficult it can be, right? Lilia has to play at a very specific range the entire time. Chime can never really walk up, and even here at the end, Bradley walks in, not taking the extra damage on the backside in terms of actually getting hit by the outer ring, and just crazy. He's able to get the damage down. We said Chime couldn't walk up. It's because he gets one shot. He goes 2 for... I feel like I got the second one too.
Just watching that go by, the instinctive gait for the extra movement speed. So good is Team Liquid, and now they're engaging right onto Golden Guardians. Looking to break that front line. Kaden able to land some damage. He's going to put out the sleep here. They're going for the engage. Golden Guardians, it might be the last stand for them as Choose going to stand into that back line. Half health for both. Choose and Array as Choose falls. Yod flashes right on through. And it is far too easy. Team Liquid are smashing Golden Guardians Academy as they're to complete the ace 23 minutes into this game. One more swipe from Bradley.
Yeah, that ought to be the end of the game, right? You already see Harry and Jan, they're going mid lane. They're going to be taking down the mid lane turret. They're going to be marching right on in. And worst case scenario for Team Liquid, they get 2 inhibitors here. They get the Mountain Soul at the backside of it. But we were asking whether or not Golden Guardians are going to be able to stand up to Team Liquid. And so far, the answer, not yet. Team Liquid are too strong. They are the dominant team for a reason, and they are saying that they are looking to be the dominant team once again.
So disgusting this performance has been. This is championship team. You're clearly seeing why in the first series of our summer season, as they get deep vision in the bot side of Golden Guardians, getting some pretty good vision over on this Baron side, which leads you to believe this has to be the next objective. You've already grabbed the Dragon Soul. Now the reset comes up. Baron is on the table. There are the pings.
Yeah. I knew I was a fan of this team for a reason. We're seeing it. So, at this point, Eric, with this game like all but done, we have to start asking what the other teams are going to... Oh, I think he gets this kill just by himself. Okay, Bradley's here. Solo him with your friends.
Over the wall. Acadian. Jan's right there, though. Yep, there's the chase. There's the ultimate, but now here comes Harry. Acadian, is he making an escape of his own?
Okay, Harry.
Get away. He's seen Team Liquid do it so many times. He's able to do his own impression, so he will get out, but at a big cost here because Team Liquid are starting up Baron.
Yeah, all right. Acadian gets one this time around, but Team Liquid, they're going to be in total control. And this is a statement game. I'm curious what's going on the other stream because I can't imagine anything is going to be as one-sided as the games that we have seen today. I continue to expect them to have a really strong showing, and I had an opportunity to talk with Ayla again. I've mentioned this a couple times, but he is now back. He said that a lot of people don't respect just how far ahead Team Liquid Academy are from the rest of the field, and now we're going to see it a little bit more as they charge into end the game.
All right, going for game-ending push, being spearheaded by Jan. This is how far ahead they are. That the marksman is the front line. Chunks away a good health. Oh, so much hurt for Golden Guardians as the minion waves start to collapse into the tower. Acadian on the flank, looking for that big hero play. He needs to get an AoE sleep, but Team Liquid are destroying his teammates. 2 down and a Nexus tower to follow. Bradley going to try and make it happen one more time. Can he do it? No! Choose finally get some redemption, but the base is in shambles and Team Liquid looking to close out. Might not be able to. You got some healthy members of Golden Guardians, but the Baron buff is what is being a menace for Golden Guardians as they cannot clear these minion waves fast enough. Armeo runs low, Concept jumps in, clips them down, 1-for-1. Legendary is Giannis is slow onto Chime. Chime cannot get away, gets hopped right onto Team Liquid. They are your champions from last year for a reason. They have a dominant 2-0 series to start off summer against Golden Guardians.
Absolutely crazy stuff coming through from Team Liquid. Huge props to the entire team and their coaching staff. This team should continue to dominate, and the only question that we're going to have is what other teams in Academy will be able to stand up to them, because with this kind of statement game against one of the teams that made top 4, they got 3rd in Proving Grounds last time. They weren't even close.
What? Man, I'm looking at the score lines right now, and this is a very, very shocking performance. I said it on the last play-by-play call. They were so ahead that Jan was diving 2 Nexus towers to kill members of Golden Guardians. Domination, man.
Yeah, you got to see, like, Golden Guardians, they felt like they were playing a little bit timid, right? A lot of the time. They were making good decisions, but they weren't necessarily committing to them. And that's the kind of thing where it's partly a team coming together for the first time. They're playing against a really strong opponent on the stage, but that can only be your excuse once. You need to be able to start going much more aggressively. You need to be able to make those plays come to fruition, and Team Liquid was able to do them. They got away with murder so many times this game, and I can't wait to see what else they're going to be doing throughout the rest of the season. They're showing they weren't even playing the most meta champs the entire time. They were kind of playing what they felt like, and it is working.
How, Josh? How many times can they get away with it? It was some disgusting stuff. The outplay that came from Harry in game 1, the escape, my God, Bradley just had this much health. I'm pushing my fingers together, and he still gets out of it. Like, what can you do against a squad this big? Only watch, learn, and try, and get ready for the next match that they're going to bring at you.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes me think of what we were saying at the beginning of the game, or at the beginning of the day, right? Armeo and Ayla, we knew they were going to be big carries for this roster, but we also knew, like, Harry, Jan, and Bradley, this isn't to take away from them, right? They played really, really well. Harry, we always knew, last season included, that he was going to be winning his lane. He was going to be coming out a little bit ahead, even matchups he's not supposed to. But sometimes he would stall out, right? If he wasn't able to find a large enough lead, he didn't necessarily have the next place to go. But I didn't feel like he ever faced that problem now. Something has turned on between, a regular season of spring and the beginning of summer, where he's just ready to go.
Excellent performance coming out of Team Liquid. We are going to take a moment to take a short break. When we return, you'll be caught up with Sierra Dawn because she'll have Spawn for an interview from Team Liquid.
Thanks for covering me for a moment there, Eric, because when I was like moving around, I like kind of slammed my desk and it toppled my ring light, which has my camera mounted to it.
Nice.
I didn't hear it, if that's worth anything.
Yeah. I was just like, okay, let me fix that before we ask me at some point during the game. So let's just do it right away. But man, that was fun. Right?
Yeah, that was. I felt really good about that cast.
Yeah.
I
felt
loved
a little bit of the
pop-off,
rust shaking off.
I forget where it was, but like 15 minutes in, I think, where there's the pop off along top lane, I believe. And then you guys are just like casually talking, and the district, you're like, ah! And like freaking out. I don't know. It was a fun energy shift.
That's the Deseric special right there, to just freak
Dude, I have been taught Mike before when I was like
My walls are down, they've been burned to the ground by the voice of an angel. Don't say a word before someone gets hurt, it's just too much to handle. My mind explodes, I can feel my bones shaking to the beat of my bleeding heart. An overload, don't know how this goes, but I'm pretty sure you just made my world stop. I can't believe my eyes when I get close to you, close to you, close to you. So pretty I could die. I can't be close to you, close to you, close to you, close to you. Close to you, close to you, close to you. Close to you, close to you, close to you. If you're as perfect under the surface, I don't know what I will do. 'Cause I can't believe my eyes when I get close to you, close to you, close to you, close to you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Great games to start off the day. And sitting down with me now to talk about it, we actually have Spawn, head coach of Team Liquid. Really excited that you're joining us, especially I understand you're in Australia right now. That must be really late or really early. I don't know the time zones for you.
Yeah, in Australia at the moment in Melbourne with my family, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning. So draft meeting was around 4:15 this morning. So day normally starts at about 3:30 a.m. for me, which is good fun at the moment, doing scrims and stuff remote.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a lot of fun. Great dedication coming up. But how's the summer been being able to be in Australia with the family? Been up to anything exciting? Well, a little bit of the off season.
Yeah, actually, it was really good to have a break. Most of the boys went to Korea. So everyone but Bradley went over to Korea for a boot camp. They were all able to get Challenger and Grandmaster, which was really good to be able to track. And Australia and Korea are on similar time zones. So that was like pretty good for me to be able to coach them through that. And then obviously, I got a lovely partner, 2 kids. So always good to have some time off and be able to do that. And just trying to maximize the amount of time I can spend with them before coming back for probably second half and end of summer split. So hopefully we can win another title.
What's truly important, right? That's awesome. But now that the summer split has begun, a little bit more down to the nitty gritty. So I'd love to ask, especially from the coach perspective, I love that we actually get to sit down and talk with you. What have you been working on with these players for them to try and take into academy to start things off, especially since Team Liquid's coming off of a really nice high in the fact that they're able to take down Proving Grounds?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we went really deep in Proving Grounds last year. We won second split last year with 4 out of the 5 same players, and we came second in Proving Grounds with 2 substitutes, and then we come in this Proving Grounds and we win it. And the players still aren't getting picked up for some reason. So what are we working on? Absolutely smashing teams now. Obviously, we normally play a really well-structured gameplay. I would say we're much more of like a macro-heavy team, if you wanted to use that word. A lot of the credit goes towards people like Ayla and Armeo on the lineup for how they control the squad and, move them around the map. But for some reason, that wasn't getting many eyeballs. So now we'll just come out and hopefully win most games in 25 minutes. So off to a good start in the campaign. But I'm just trying to empower the guys to pick the champions they want to play and play as freely as they can. And you'll probably see that, the games will go 1 or 2 way quite quickly at the moment because we are playing a pretty dynamic style.
All right. Well, I love the passion that you have too with like the players aren't getting picked up. And it was something that we talked about earlier on the show too, that very passionate about these players and take it personally that a couple of them aren't getting those LCS spots that they deserve. We all have our own thoughts on why maybe it's not there or why they should be there. But I'd love to hear it from you as well, why these players are deserving that recognition and moving up.
Yeah, I mean, for my team, it's super interesting, right? Because the kind of core of the team with myself was put together 18 months ago now. And we had one bad Proving Grounds. We bombed out of that one. But for the rest of the time we've been together, we've been a top 2 team the whole way through. So from my end, it's, talking to coaches from other organizations, other teams, also internally, and trying to work out what they think the deficiency in some of these academy players are. And I think that what we need is, you know, more success stories going through. So, you know, looking at people like, not even from the Team Liquid organization, but people like Luger that's been able to promote and become an instant superstar within the league is stuff that we need to like really be able to focus. Fudge was another big one, Boy, that was able to, you know, go up on Cloud9 and become one of the best top laners in the league, then successful role swap now back to top lane. So I think overall, what we need is actually some of these players to get a good opportunity, and then for those opportunities to be converted, for people to have real faith that the infrastructure and kind of progression of these players is improving and is getting better. And then hopefully it is the players from the top teams, you know, that do get those opportunity spots to be able to perform on the LCS stage.
Because yeah, with Academy, a lot of it is sure you want to come out here and absolutely smash it, take these wins, but at the same time, making sure that the players can have that recognition that the eyeballs are on them and their improvements going forward. And I know something that we're really trying to highlight as well, because with how I'll focus it back onto the Team Liquid players, even just how we've seen them perform today, how we've seen them in the past, and the fact this roster has been standing forward together for a while. It's been amazing. And the fact that the roster has stuck together for such a long time. How do you think that gives your team an advantage to going into an infrastructure where there is sometimes a lot of changes?
Yeah, and turnover is, you know, it can be good or it can be bad. And I think that when you have a team that clicks the way my team clicks, and has the right voices in the right areas, it gives us a really big advantage, because as we continue to play the game together, we continue to, you know, evolve, yes, but the things that we do well, we don't even really have to communicate now. Like it's just second nature, like moving towards, you know, Armeo's camps, or, you know, on what timings we do specific objectives, or when we have Baron buff, how we set up the map and kind of posture to be able to crack open and break the game. These things are now just coming second nature, which means that you get to work on more nuanced things as a coach, which is really enjoyable. What I found in the past is if I have a team with high turnover, you kind of, you know, go to like, how do you set up Rift Heralds? How do you set up Dragons? And then maybe you get one or two new players in every split, and it's like, okay, back to the drawing board. How do we set up Rift Heralds? How do we set up Dragon? And you're just coaching the same things over and over again. Whereas, you know, having this squad for 18 months now, obviously the addition of Bradley for Jenkins was a slight change, but it's much easier to integrate, you know, one piece into an already existing kind of system, if you will, lack of a better term, than, you know, complete overhaul. And I think that we're using that to our advantages to kind of work on the finer points of the game at the moment.
Okay, and then to move away from Team Liquid and actually just more so for yourself, I saw a tweet that you're actually playing against an old coach here in Chuz, and I would love if you could explain a little bit more of that history too for any viewers that might not really understand the fact that you got to general manage a team that he was coaching in the past.
Yeah, so in 2017, I left Riot Games and created an organization called Order, which was, you know, Australia's first Melbourne esports team with a guy called Jared Murphy. And we went out and we picked up Swiffer, who's now the head coach of SK Gaming over in Europe. We had Spooks, who's one of the coaches at Golden Guardians. Swiper, another coach from Golden Guardians, has been through that org. But the first coach of that roster was actually Choo Choo's, who's one of the two-way coaches over at Golden Guardians. And obviously have a really great bond with Aaron. He's a great guy. He was a fantastic coach. And before that, he was one of the legendary mid laners of the scene as well. And, you know, he gave us a couple of headache moments in game one playing the Ahri. We were able to shut it down quite quickly, which was good. But it's just one of those things where it's like, Harry, come on, man. This guy has actually helped Harry personally in the past. So it's like, you don't want to get run over by him. So it's a funny situation. A lot of people through OS have come kind of through an org that I've worked with in one way or the other, and got really good relationships with the guys over at Golden Guardians.
Well, that's awesome seeing that all those little past relationships and how they're still blossoming and where they are in the scene today. I do have to let you go shortly, but I have to ask on behalf of Rafa here, since you are in Australia, how much better is the coffee over there?
It's actually heaps better. And it's like, I don't even know why. I can't answer like why, Rafa. I'm making my own coffees. Actually, Jenna, my fiance, invested in a good coffee machine while I was gone in America, because obviously with two kids, it's harder to go out and get coffee. So I'm making it myself. But I would say if I had to put a number on it, I would say probably twice as good. I don't know why. It's definitely twice as good as American coffee.
All right, definitely noted. Thanks again so much for sitting down and talking with me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Whether that's sleeping, I don't know if you, after being up so early, if you nap now, if you go about your day.
Nah, go be a dad for a little bit, then watch Evil Geniuses play a little bit later so we can prepare for them tomorrow.
All right, all right. Well, best of luck. Thanks again so much for sitting down with me. As for us, we're gonna head back over to the desk and talk a little bit with Desrex and Joshi just about the game, what to expect later on going into things, and maybe compare a couple of hot coffee it takes over here.